Hello from Seattle, Washington. Good morning here in Seattle. Welcome to Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. My name is Robin Fritz, and I am here to talk with you today about taking you back. Okay, so again, thank you for joining me. And today I want to talk a little bit about taking you back, how we look at our self-image and what we can do to change it to be our best selves. So, welcome. My name is Robin Fritz. I'm an intuitive and spiritual consultant and certified past life regression specialist. And I'm based in Seattle, Washington. And so today we're going to talk about taking you back. We're going to do a quick meditation with Fallon Crystal. I'm taking two questions for quick readings or just questions and answers that we can work out together here in community, and a crystal of the week. So as we get started, here's Fallon. Good morning from Fallon too. Fallon is citrine Lemurian quartz. I'm going to hold him up so you can get a really good view there. So you can see him and not me here. So as you take your attention to the top of your head, we're going to breathe down from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, just to get us all grounded and balanced together here. So breathing down from the top of your head, down your face, your shoulders, your chest, your hips, your knees, and your feet. The top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And then breathing up from your feet, past your knees, your hips, your chest, your shoulders, your face, and the top of your head. You can welcome in Fallon's gold light, which is healing and supportive, and will help us talk together today about our self-image. So welcome. Thank you all for chiming in. Let me know where you're coming from. Someone's contemplating a move, Jenny. Okay, so Jenny will talk to you about that on your move. And Colette, hey, thank you. You're awesome too. And welcome from the UK. So let me talk a little bit about taking you back. You know, each week I try to talk about something that involves intuition and healing. And boy, there's no bigger thing really in our lives than ourselves and taking our power back and being who we really are. And for me, I want to talk about it because we're thinking about our self-image and how we can be strong in who we are. And taking you back, I say you in capital letters. And it's because we hear a lot about self-image, right? I mean, that's everywhere. It's all products and services that are sold to help us be better. You know, we can be more beautiful, or we can have fancier clothes. We can have a better diet, or just no diet at all and lose all this weight that we have that doesn't seem to fit society. All kinds of things that culture tells us we can be better, but is that really true? When I think about self-image, I think about how I was raised, and I want to be very frank here with you today because my parents loved me. They were supportive. They tried their best, but they were ruled by their culture and their religion, which told them that because I was female, I wasn't good enough. And I was told that growing up. I was told that as a young adult. And I'm still affected by that. And I know in client sessions, whether we're looking at intuitive issues or personal issues, or whether we're doing a soul clearing, we think about things from our childhood that have actually blocked us and held us back, our energy. And energy getting blocked just keeps us from moving forward. Now, I know there are a lot of women out there who will say, yes, I've heard that I'm not good enough because I'm female. And, you know, it's a huge thing, especially in United States these last few years about women and power. But it doesn't mean that boys and men aren't affected as well. Women are taught that we don't look good enough or whatever. boys and men are taught they have to be premier athletes or somehow have to excel and be big and strong and not show feelings. And we're all underserved in a way because of the conceptions that are put on us by our culture without us really thinking through what those things mean for us. And it's not that our parents or our culture are really saying definitively that we're not good enough. What in essence maybe they're saying is that they're not thinking it through and they're not helping us think it through. But when we get these images and feelings and associations from our culture, the question is, how do we respond to that? And I hold myself up as an example. I remember saying to myself, well, that's just me, I'm just not good enough. Or it was my fault. And we believe that instead of stopping and thinking, wait a minute, what's really going on here? And how does that affect me? And how does that affect the people around me, right? And in a way, it's our family's way of preparing us for a tough future where we're not always going to be approved by the people around us, where we're going to struggle at jobs, because we all do, right? We all have great times, we all struggle, we all try to be our best, and we sometimes fall short. And what we forget is that that's okay. That's part of the learning curve, right? The question is how you respond to it. So I'm wondering if we could achieve the idea of being good enough if we believed in ourselves no matter what. And that's certainly the attitude that I finally chose for myself, thinking that I shouldn't let myself be blocked by other people's misconceptions, and even especially my own. So that's why I wanted to talk to you today about taking you back, right? Because in many ways, it's all about energy, body, mind, and spirit. And we can believe that we lack, or we can say, wow, I want to take a different approach to that. In truth, we're all souls, right? I've said this over and over, and I know you all agree. We're all souls experiencing this incarnation in human bodies. Souls are always good enough. Souls are always good enough. And our bodies, we sometimes make mistakes. We sometimes do great things. And it's all part of the learning curve, right? It's all part of us growing and becoming better. So how do we take ourselves back? How do you take you back? And one thing is your values. What do you value and why? So integrity, kindness, compassion, honesty, speaking your truth, those are all values. What do you value and why do you value it? Valuing yourself as a human who does great things and makes mistakes and is growing your soul, that's the first thing to value, I think. It's at least what I started to do. And then there's mind, body, and spirit. What do you need, mind, body, and spirit, to believe that you are good enough? That it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be different. It's okay not to be the premier athlete. It's okay to be a woman. What are your strengths? I mean, sit down and tally that up, because you'd be surprised if you're in this mode of less than, you forget that you have strengths. And one of those is that your soul was strong enough to choose to be in a human body in the first place. Because of all the different beings that I talk to on this planet and on others, it seems like humans are the ones that struggle the most to really grow their souls in their incarnation. It's like you picked a really tough job right off the bat just to be human. So what are your other strengths? Your kindness, your intelligence, your hardworking, your desire to love yourself, your family, your friends, your country. Your strengths to speak what you know to be true and to honor that. And then what are your weaknesses? Well, my weaknesses is I still sometimes fall back into that, well, I'm not good enough. And then I go like, oh, come on, grow up. You're old enough to know better. Kind of tease myself out of it. But it also isn't what other people think. It's what you know. You can be such a control freak that you run roughshod over other people. So what is it that you are so afraid of that you feel like you have to control everything around you? And how can you work out of that? So instead of saying things like, I deserve that or I'm wrong, you say, well, I made this mistake. I did the wrong thing. This is the thing that I did. This is what I wish I had done. And this is what I'm going to do next. And what did you just do? You just grew. You just grew your soul. You just grew an understanding of who you are and how you function in the world. And that can only make you better, right? You can control your response to a weakness by saying, I can be better, I am going to be better, I am always growing, and it's fun, right? So if you identify your strengths and weaknesses, they show us where we're doing well and where we need to improve, and that's a lifelong thing, right? I mean, if we were perfect right now, what would be the fun in that? How would we go out and have new experiences and learn from them? And how would we grow even more in love with ourselves and those around us? And boy, doesn't the world really need that right now? All of us going out and just loving each other and saying, okay, I don't agree with your point of view. Here's my point of view. You may not agree on it. Where do we come together? Where can we come together to make our neighborhoods, our families, our countries, the planet a better place for us all to be? So then, as you're looking at your values, your strengths and weaknesses, what you need in mind, body, and spirit, you can answer this one big question: who are you? Who are you? So your soul is in it there with you, but what do you stand for in the world? What do you and your body stand for in the world, right? And what do you need to do that? What do you need to say, this is who I am? These are the things that I value. These are why. As those of you who probably tuned in before, you know that I am devoted to my animal family, currently my dog Ollie and my cat Karis. And I'm sometimes impatient with them, and they like roll their eyes like, okay, take a nap. But when I stop and I look at them and I evaluate how they respond to the world, and I think what a tremendous gift it is that these two souls came back again to be with me, to show me how they're growing their souls, and to give me ideas about how I'm growing mine, just like they look at me and get ideas for what they could or should not be doing, because that's what families are all about, right? Supporting each other. So when you're thinking about taking you back, look at your soul. Your soul that's it. That's why you're here. And always remember that your soul is having this current experience in living in a human body, which I promise you is a really tough job all by itself. So the fact that you're growing and you're laughing and you're loving and you're making mistakes, it's all part of the package. And it's good, right? It's good. So also remember energy. We are all made of energy. Energy flows through us. And when we think, I'm not good enough because I'm a girl, or I'm not good enough because I'm not an athlete, or whatever, the things that society has told us that we're not good enough. Your hips are too big. You eat the wrong foods, whatever. Think about energy. Anything that you think makes you less than is going to hold your energy back. It's going to block your energy from flowing in. Anytime your energy is blocked, you're less than you could be. And so you keep the energy moving by reminding yourself that, yep, I make mistakes. Yep, I have good times. Yes, I laugh. Yes, I cry. It's all part of the package. It's all part of growing and learning and being you. So, as you're thinking about these things, about taking you back, I just want you to remember that the world needs you, right? Whatever's affecting you, the world needs you to be your best. And so here are some tips on how to be your best. We've gone through the values and the strengths and weaknesses and so on. Just remind yourself every day that you're doing your best. And if for some reason you don't think you're doing your best, what is it? Did you not get enough sleep? Are you worried about a work situation? What is it? Are you worried about a family member? Worry is good too. It means that you're loving. Tell yourself that you make mistakes and it's okay because you're learning from them and growing, right? Which is what we're here for. Allow your energy to move and not be blocked, right? And you're taking you back. So you're mindful of the things that you can do better. You're mindful of the things you are doing better. And you first and foremost are loving yourself no matter what. So I see this all the time in the sessions with clients that I call soul progression clearing. People come to me because something is holding them back. They can feel it. Sometimes it's the throat chakra, being able to speak your truth. Sometimes it's heart chakra, because none of us love ourselves enough. I've learned this from working with the dead. I've learned this from working with my living clients. None of us love ourselves enough. And that is our job, to learn to love ourselves. But a big area where we're blocked is our solar plexus, okay? That area between your belly button and your heart, right? And our solar plexus is all about the power of being you, about individuality, about creativity, about expressing yourself, about building yourself up so that you can say, I'm doing my best and it's good enough, right? And the reason I'm bringing up solar plexus, because it's talking to us about how you be you, is because the crystal of the week here is citrine. Now, Fallon is citrine Lemurian quartz. I'm going to hold him up again. So you may see a faint gold, yellowish gold sheen on him. That's the citrine. It makes him very rare right off the bat. Citrine Lemurian is a very rare combination. But here's a piece of citrine. You can find it like this is a rough piece. And I'll hold it up really close. That yellowy, darkish, yellow, orangey color is citrine. Citrine is great for solar plexus, which is all about self-esteem, self-confidence, and personal power. So sometimes citrine is heat treated, and it's really like a form of amethyst or quartz that's heat treated. But look for real citrine if you can, or if you're going to buy the heat treated stuff, buy it from a reputable dealer who knows what they're doing and knows their stock, so that you get the best piece that you can. But citrine promotes the power of you being you as an individual, creativity, again, motivation, helping you express yourself, being less sensitive to criticism, which is my issue, right? Or used to be. Obviously, if I'm out there doing what I'm doing in the world, I've learned to let things roll off of me. Things that you're determined to bring you down, citrine is the thing that will help boost you back up again. It also helps you listen to yourself and listen to those who love you, who are trying to say, hey, there's something wrong, or we're worried about something you're doing, so that you can listen to what they're saying, constructive criticism, and listen and take it in and decide, is that really true? And if it is, how do I work through that issue? So citrine will help you go, oh, oops, I did something. What was it that I reacted to? Helps you understand yourself better and helps you love yourself. Pretty awesome, right? So let me just go through any questions that we have here. I know I saw your question, Jenny. I wrote your name down. I'm sorry I didn't write your question down. So let me just see if I can find it here. Yes, there you are, Jenny. So you're contemplating a big move and you're seeking guidance. And the minute I read that, it felt like you need to think more deeply about it. It's almost like you're running away from something as opposed to running to something. And there's a big difference. If you're running away from something, you're always going to be holding yourself back. The move isn't going to do for you what you want it to do. If you're looking at this as an opportunity for growth, for learning, that you're excited about it, and those are the positive, those are the uplifting, those are the strengths of looking at your big move. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because those are big things, right? Whether you're moving for a job or you're moving to a new home, I hear from people that I've just made this big move and oh my gosh, it's all wrong. Why is it wrong? Sometimes it is, sometimes we make mistakes, and sometimes it's just getting used to the new environment. So, what is it that you need to be powerful in yourself to grow to the next stage of your life? And is it the move that will support that? Or is it the move that you're taking so that you don't have to think about the most important thing that you really need to be thinking about right now? So, if it works for you on that level of moving yourself forward, of taking you back, of being powerful, then go for it. Let's see, Nadia, your health for your mom and your daughter. Um, my first thought went to a naturopath. There are a lot of great naturopaths out there that can offer alternative healing, even boosting up our energy levels. And I would go there and see if they're interested in that kind of approach. I've had longstanding health issues for many years, and I worked with alternative medicine providers and still do, as well as regular. And my recovery was slow, but here I am well. And that's because I look beyond what our allopathic, or what we call our traditional medical providers, look at. And salt clearing, for all of you who have health issues as well as like how do I move forward issues, put sea salt in bowls around the house, just a handful, if you will, or any kind of salt, but I like sea salt. And that helps keep the energy moving. So try that. And Gina, you're grieving the loss of your mother and your dad isn't present. Well, your dad isn't present, available emotionally. Your dad is grieving too, and his way of grieving is to shut himself off. That's how some people grieve. They shut themselves down. Sadly, I watched my parents do it for years, years, when my brother died when he was 14. Um, and I know you're grieving, and I know he's grieving. If you'd like a private session, contact me and we can talk with your mother and talk about where you can move forward. But create a little ceremony on your own where you can say goodbye to your mom. I know there's funerals, but your own private ceremony. You can do some sea salt, incense, flower that she likes, a picture of her, and say goodbye to her. Say, I love you, I miss you, it's okay, you've died, go ahead and go on to the afterlife. We'll still be able to connect. And it's tough. I know it's tough to lose our loved ones. It's really hard to lose our mothers, whether they actually gave birth to us or adopted us. There's that bond of being part of their body. And I was closer to my dad, and yet my mother's death hit me harder. So I hope that helps to know that it's partly that bond of mother to child that's lost when someone dies. So I hope those tips help you and your dad. He's in his own place. Let him grieve where he is over a period of time. If he doesn't come around, that's where counseling, whether with a spiritual counselor or a mental health counselor, will help. Losing someone is the most traumatic experience of our life. So my heart goes with you. And thank you for chiming in. April, the same thing, the loss of your son. I am so sorry. And I know everyone here joins in me in sending you and all of those who have lost loved ones our love and support. It's tough to lose children. While I was not fortunate enough to have my own human children, I have my animal family, and I have many friends who have lost loved ones, as well as children. And I know how difficult that can be. So we're sending you love and support. Again, like I said, try your own private memorial service where you say goodbye, tell them that they've passed on, that you love them, that you will always love them, and let those energies flow. And sea salt will help continue to let those energies flow. So I want to thank all of you for joining me today, and for chiming in here. Sharon, you're looking into moving. Um, think about it a little bit, although it looks like you're ready. Um, yes, Jenny. And our parents don't mean to raise us with limiting beliefs. They don't think of it that way. They think of it as that's the way they were raised, or that's what religion and culture tell them. And boy, it's past time for us to change that paradigm. It's past time for us to say, hey, we're all good enough, even when we make mistakes, because that helps us grow. There are people who make tons of mistakes who are full of hatred and contempt for their fellow people, and they're on their own path. And if you know any of those in your life, you need to walk away from them. That's what we do in order to stay healthy ourselves. So, yeah, so I want to thank everybody for chiming in. Those of you that's your first time, that's great. Come back again. We're here. I'm sweet. Oh, thank you. Um, thank you, Marie. I appreciate that. I'm here every Monday at 11 Pacific time, from Seattle, Washington, or I try to be. And this is our time to come together. And we have this time to come together because of the generosity of the people who created OhmTimes.com, radio, podcasts, magazine, social media presence. They also created Humanity Healing, and it's all about coming together wherever we are in the world to share this time together, to grow in love with each other, to grow in mind, body, and spirit. So if you like these broadcasts, please like those pages, Humanity Healing and the Ohm Times pages. Help them out, help me out. My page on Facebook is The Practical Intuitive, Robin M. Fritz. I appreciate likes on those pages. If you'd like to work with me, you can find me at my website, robinfritz.com. I offer personal and business intuition, mediumship, talking with our deceased human and animal loved ones, space clearing, past life regression, spiritual journeys, soul journeys to meet your spiritual team, soul progression clearing, which helps clear out those energy blocks. So as we end today, I want to thank you for joining us. And let's close down that your crown chakra. If you're a little dizzy, it's because of your connection to Fallon here on the video. And for those of you who just joined us for the first time, I've received emails from people who watch regularly, and they tell me after, some of them don't immediately connect with Fallon's energy because it's so different for them. But usually after the second or third broadcast, they're going like, whoa, they click right into Fallon. Because that's what he's here for, as a healer and a truth bringer. So we're going to close down the connection to Fallon, and we're going to end today by giving ourselves loving energy. So if you cross your hands on your heart, take a deep breath and imagine breathing healthy, positive energy into your heart. Think about taking you back and all your strengths and weaknesses, being the best that you can be because the world needs you, right? So take a deep breath, let mind, body, and spirit go out and change the world. We need you. Thank you for joining me. Come back next week. I'll be here. Take care.